Friday morning, October 7th. We drove to the airport, which would take us to Fort Lauderdale. Meanwhile, Hurricane Matthew was waiting off the coast of Florida, and we weren't even sure if we'd be able to go on this cruise. Thankfully, even with the storm activity, we didn't hit any type of turbulence, and our flight was actually pretty nice as we came into Fort Lauderdale. That night, we stayed at a hotel, and we woke up Saturday morning and took a shuttle to the port of Miami. You always have mixed emotions at the cruise ship port because you have to wait to get on board the ship, but you're also excited because you're about to get on board the ship. This time around, we purchased the Faster to the Fun program, which let us get on board before pretty much everybody else. Walking across the gangway, I'm getting excited because I know that my vacation's about to begin as soon as my feet hit the deck of the ship.
We are now officially on vacation.
Once we were on board, we quickly found some food and we found our way to our room. Lately, whenever we go on a cruise, we try to get an aft cabin with the extended balcony, so we checked out the balcony just to see our view from the back of the ship. It's always a good idea to take advantage of the time in port to explore your ship, get a good idea of what the layout is.
But coffee bar.
The layout of most Carnival ships is pretty similar, but it's still easy to get lost if you don't know where you're going. Yeah, remember that cheesecake. You'll be seeing it later.
We've never sat in these chairs anytime we've ever been on a cruise.
Check that off the list.
All right, done. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Everybody say hi. I am. It's only 2 o'clock and we're getting ready to have pizza after the lunch we just had. And look at it. Hello. One of my favorite parts of the cruise.
Anytime is a favorite part of this cruise.
Yeah. I like hanging out in the back. And I especially like it whenever we leave. And I like watching Florida slip away from us.
We met up with our friends John and Jessica, and we set out for the first night on our cruise.
It's the first morning of our cruise. Today is Sunday, and right now we are somewhere in the Caribbean. I'm not sure where we are. So last night we had dinner and we went to the comedy club and we watched a comedian. It was pretty funny. And then after that we pretty much came back and went to bed because everybody was tired. It was a long day yesterday for everybody. And this morning, John and Jessica are probably going to sleep in a little bit, they said. So I think we're going to go grab some brunch and some coffee. And then we're going to see what the day holds for us. We had brunch.
I had huevos rancheros.
Yeah, huevos rancheros.
I
And
remember to tell them not to put the sour cream on mine next time.
I had filet mignon and eggs and a little bit of spinach. Tony went to go buy earrings, but they were too much money. And then we just had a monster piece of cheesecake and some chocolate-covered strawberries. And they were pretty yummy. And so today, it's been pretty much a lazy day. We're going to get ready for the formal dinner tonight. We still haven't run into John and Jessica. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Right now we're standing on our back deck and we're just kind of enjoying this. It's still day one. We're laying out in the shade like old people. And we're relaxing. We have like an hour and something before we have to get ready for the big dinner.
In the grandparent section.
We're in the grandparents section. So we're like old people.
It's awesome.
We're just kind of chilling, enjoying the shade, reading books. Yeah.
Later, we had a formal dinner and prepared for our next day at Grand Turk.
It's way too early. It's 6:45, and we're gonna have breakfast. We're in Grand Turk. We're gonna have coffee, and then we're gonna go over and do some type of zip lining extreme experience first thing in the morning. I'm tired.
She moved.
Breakfast.
We took a shuttle to the zip lining area, and along the way we just saw some random ass on the street. After ziplining, we enjoyed the beautiful waters at Grand Turk, and then we made our way over to Margaritaville.
Jamie would have poured that whole thing in a long time ago.
On the way back to the ship, I harassed Tony about the time we were in Jamaica and she lost her driver's license. Remember that, it'll come back later.
Well, it's about 1:30 now, and we're wrapped up with Grand Turk. We went out this morning and did an excursion, and we swam out in the ocean for a little while. We did some stuff out there, and so now we're coming back and probably going to get some showers and maybe soon go find some coffee, maybe get some kind of dessert or something like that. Depends on what mood we're in. And later on tonight, we're going to be catching some movies, and I'm not sure what else we're going to get into. We're going to take a look at the fun times and see what else is going on. Feels like it was a long day just because we had to wake up early to go do our excursion. It's a good way to start the day off, though. First thing in the morning, having to climb up 100 feet or whatever it was and hang from a rope net and zip line. That's pretty exciting. We're enjoying 3 o'clock coffee, watching people eat. We just had some type of cheesecake dessert. We have dinner in 3 hours. I lost my driver's license. After talking to my woman about losing her goddamn driver's license, I lost my driver's license.
What a dumbass.
Well, got it back. Some kind person turned it in. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning on day 3, and we're getting ready to go get some breakfast and have coffee, which we really need. Apparently there was a storm last night, and our deck is a little bit wet, but right now the weather looks pretty beautiful out here. There's supposed to be rain in San Juan, so we don't know quite how to dress yet.
We didn't really have an excursion planned for San Juan, so we just sort of walked around and took in the sights. After doing a bit of shopping, we decided to find some food, and we found a little place called Tijuana's.
We're eating at Tijuana's in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I think it's starting to rain. We had fajitas. They were pretty good. I think we have reservations tonight at 9 or 9:30 for dinner, so we'll probably end up eating something between now and then. That's what it looks like outside right now.
We met up with John and Jessica for a quick snack, and then got ready for dinner.
So we're at the steakhouse, the Pinnacle, for probably the best steak that we're going to eat for the entire cruise.
I can't breathe.
She can't breathe.
Because I am wearing something.
I'm dressed like Ricardo Montalban from Fantasy Island. It's almost 8:30, and the ship is rocking. Pretty good clip as we're leaving Puerto Rico. Hopefully this will all straighten out as tonight goes on.
Okay, Puerto Rico back there.
Bye-bye, Puerto Rico.
That night, we had a fantastic dinner at the Pinnacle Steakhouse. I had an 18-ounce cowboy steak, and it was massive.
That is a piece of meat right there.
The Pinnacle costs a little bit extra. It's not included with the normal cruise package, but I think it's totally worth it, especially because of the quality of the food and also the quality of the desserts afterward.
So it's midnight, and we finished up with our formal dinner in the Pinnacle Steakhouse, and we walked around, took a look at some pictures, watched an 80s type celebration on the Lido deck where they did some dancing. They had like a Michael Jackson dance competition where nobody really danced like Michael Jackson. I think one of the guys danced more like Mick Jagger. And then we went up topside and took a look at another ship and just took a look at the water. Looking at the water at night is actually pretty cool. But we're going to bed and waking up tomorrow at about 8 o'clock to get some breakfast and get ready for our excursion in St. Kitts, where we're going to ride mini speedboats. So that's what's happening. Well, it's the morning of day 4, and we are in St. Kitts, and it's an unusually sunny morning out. Today we're going to be doing the mini speedboats. We just had breakfast. It's probably now about 9:30, and we'll be porting at about 10 o'clock and getting off the ship and spending some time in St. Kitts. I'm not sure how long we're going to be there today, and then I'm really not sure what the plan's going to be for the rest of the afternoon, so I guess we'll see.
These little boats were a blast. If you ever get a chance to go to St. Kitts and ride these speedboats, I would definitely take it. After we zipped up the coast of St. Kitts, our guide stopped us and we all tied off and did a little bit of snorkeling. Then we headed back to the ship for some lunch.
We're on the, what deck are we on, 10th?
9.
Oh, this is 9, that's right, 10th is right above us. And as you can see, we're all steadily feeding our faces.
My Oh man, it's hilarious. He
What?
does. But you know you're on the 10? I said, no, we're not. Oh yeah, 10's one above us. Yeah, 9, 10.
Here's my woman being an asshole.
I am being an asshole, but it was just really funny that you said that.
We decided to leave the ship and do a little bit of shopping in St. Kitts. One of the ways that locals make money is by putting monkeys on you and then stopping you for a photo opportunity, and then of course asking for a donation for the pictures. After Jessica's photo opportunity, she stopped for some hand sanitizer, not knowing how clean the monkeys were.
So it's almost 6 o'clock and we're waiting for the movie. John and Jessica are probably going to come down here. I think tonight we're going to eat outside and watch Star Trek Beyond instead of eating in the formal dining room. I decided to shave while we were still in port because I didn't want to try to shave while we were out at sea.
Well, we're in St. Maarten now, and we're about to go probably just exploring the island a little bit.
That morning, Jess woke up before John and went out and did a little bit of exploring on her own in St. Maarten. Everything was closed first thing in the morning, so we all just kind of walked around waiting for things to open up. Soon, we left for our excursion, which was to be another highlight of our cruise. We got a chance to be part of the crew in a regatta, racing against the Stars and Stripes, a 12-meter yacht, and we were aboard the True North. After a quick briefing by the crew, we were assigned our positions. I was to be one of the primary grinders, and Tony was the winch. We lost, but that's okay. We had a great time out on the water, which, by the way, is beautiful. I can't say that I've ever seen water as beautiful as it is in St. Maarten. After a quick dip, we decided to go find some food.
Wow, look at that thing.
And best burger.
After lunch, we did a little bit of shopping and then headed back to the ship for cheesecake.
Here's us eating big, massive piece of cheesecake again. Let's see, it's probably 4:15 or something like that, right?
4:28.
4:28. And we are going to be leaving St. Maarten soon, so we're celebrating with a piece of cheesecake.
After we just ate that massive hamburger. Earning my floppy wings.
And we're going to be eating dinner in about an hour and a half or so. But we're going to put this in our dessert stomach instead of our regular stomach. So I'm having coffee, 3 o'clock coffee, but I'm having it an hour and a half late, and to make up for that, I'm having cheesecake.
I don't know if St. Maarten does this for everybody, but as we were leaving, they gave us a rainbow. That night at dinner, we decided to wear our silly tourist shirts that we picked up in St. Kitts.
It's the second to the last day of the cruise. This is one of our fun days at sea. We just came back from brunch where I ate way too much food. We started off with a tomato soup And Tony had huevos rancheros, which she normally gets. I had a French toast that was encrusted with Honey Nut Cheerios, and it kicked my ass. It was way too much. I also had 2 eggs and some bacon, so ate quite a bit of food. I think today we're going to have just kind of a casual day. We're going to go and look at the silly pictures that we shot last night and see what we can get into. Probably check out the hairy chest contest, see if any women enter this year, and maybe do some writing and see what we can get into later on this evening. I'm gonna go change and probably put on some sunscreen because it is baking out here today. It's nice and hot. So that's kind of the game plan. One more day left.
You can't really say you've been on a cruise until you've watched a hairy chest contest.
Well, please give it up for Richard! All right! Here's your hairy chest winner for this week, ladies and gentlemen. If you see it,
All right, it's now 3:06 and we're having 3 o'clock coffee. And
Look at her face.
and we're looking at pictures that were just sent to us from Lindsay and Charlotte. And we're now about to have some oatmeal raisin cookies. Tony had her massage a little bit earlier. That's the way Tony looks after her massage. And I have no idea where we are right now. But I'll see if I can see the waves out there. It's been pretty rocky coming back, but I guess it's to be expected since we had all that storm activity earlier. Now I'm just going to enjoy some coffee and a couple of cookies.
That night, we had another formal dinner with John and Jessica, and later on took some pictures.
Well, it's Saturday. It's the last day of our cruise, and we just had breakfast. We had brunch. I had the filet mignon and the eggs. Probably won't be eating a whole lot of that for breakfast whenever I get home. We also had tomato soup. It's pretty excellent. So, because it's the last day of the cruise, there isn't really a whole lot going on. We're not porting anywhere, so it's just a fun day at sea. And we're going to be pretty much packing up this evening. I think our bags have to be out by at least 11 o'clock tonight. And not a whole lot going on today, so I guess we'll look around, find something to do, get up with John and Jessica again, and we'll be seeing them for the last time today. I think we're going to go look at some of the pictures that we took last night, and we'll find out what's on the agenda for today. There may be some shows. I know that they have a couple of movies tonight. So the last day of the cruise is always, I guess, kind of nice because we get to go home and be with the family again. It's also kind of sad because we've been planning this for, probably a year or so, and it's all coming to an end today. But we're going to enjoy what we have here while we can, and we'll see what's going on today.
The fun days at sea are great for doing some shopping, walking around and checking out the sights, and of course, enjoying cheesecake. That day, we also attended a tea at 3 o'clock, and we had some dinner in the main dining room.
Well, we just said goodbye to John and Jess. We went to a comedy show, and that was probably the last thing we're going to be doing this evening. Really the last thing we're going to be doing as part of the cruise. Tomorrow morning we're going to get up and maybe try to have some breakfast before we leave. We're going to try to get out of here a little bit later than everybody else since we had the faster to the fun. I think we're allowed to do that. And we have a little bit later flight. It's going to be after 2 o'clock, so we don't want to wait around at the airport. So we're going to hang out on the ship as long as we can just to try to prolong that cruise for a little bit longer. But yeah, we said our goodbyes, and hopefully we'll be seeing them soon. We had a great time on this cruise, and yeah, so we're gonna call it a night and get up in the morning, fly back home, and see the kids, the grandkids, see what kind of shape the house is in, and that'll be the end of our vacation.
For our last night at sea, we got to see a lightning storm, which was far enough away not to cause any concern, but just close enough to where it was enjoyable to watch.
Well, it's Sunday morning. We're back in Miami, and we're getting ready to go have breakfast, and we'll be getting off the ship soon and heading to the airport. So it's now pretty much the end of the cruise and the end of our vacation.
We had one last breakfast in the main dining room, and then we headed over to the Lido deck to wait to get off the ship.
This is us waiting on the Lido deck. I suppose there are worse places we could be waiting. We're still on a cruise ship. I'm still rocking a little bit. Still feels like I'm out at sea. I mean, right now we could be out on the water. We're not. What happened, woman?
They directed us to the wrong bus.
Yeah. They almost put us on the bus to Miami. Yeah, we almost had to call John and Jessica to pick us up from Miami, take us to Fort Lauderdale in that fast-ass car they got. There it goes.
And with that, we left Florida and headed back to Virginia.
We're on the way home. We'll be home soon. We landed safely. It was better than driving, that's for sure. All right, in just a few minutes, we'll get to see our boy. Did they bring the baby? Yes. Oh, and the baby. All right. So now we have to get off and get our luggage, and then we're heading home.